Now, President Trump says that he wants to resume nuclear weapons testing after more than a 30-year pause. Joining us right now is retired U.S. Navy Admiral James Stavridis. He's a former NATO Supreme Allied Commander and now Global Affairs Vice Chairman at Carlyle Group and a board chair with the Rockefeller Foundation. His latest book, The Restless Wave, is now out in paperback. Good morning to you, sir. Help us understand what's going on here. And, you know, we were talking about it just yesterday, the timing of all of this in relation to this conversation that he was having with President Xi. Related, not related? What do you think?
I don't think related, Andrew. And, you know, three different things here. A nuclear weapon, everyone knows what that is, goes off, mushroom cloud, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, devastating. Then there is nuclear power, which is electricity generated by nuclear capability. That's benign generally and is part of what Putin has been talking about, nuclear-powered torpedoes, nuclear-powered cruise missiles. Third thing, nuclear testing. That is detonating a nuclear weapon. You're correct. The United States hasn't done that since the early 1990s. Neither has Russia, neither has China. I hope we can avoid that. The only country that's done a nuclear test, detonating a nuclear weapon of late, is North Korea. I think it's unlikely to happen. And I think President Trump probably conflated nuclear power because Putin was talking about all of his new nuclear-powered weapons. So President Trump kind of converted that to, we're going to do nuclear testing to keep up with them, to show them we're strong. I'm all for showing them we're strong. I'm not for nuclear testing, and I doubt the president actually is either.
Do we need to show them that we're strong, or do they know that we're strong?
I think a bit of both. They're certainly aware that we have the preeminent military force in the world. Our budget is triple that of China. It's 4 times, maybe 5 times that of Russia. And it's a highly blooded armed force because of 20 years in the forever wars, a lot of combat experience. They know all that. On the other hand, Andrew, yes, we have to continually demonstrate to our opponents that we have that capability. Hopefully you do it without nuclear testing, without actually attacking other countries. You do it in tests and exercises, working with your allies. When necessary, you use actual force, like the president did against Iran.
What do these tests look like?
It is, if you were going to do one, you could do an underground version. That's what North Korea ostensibly did. You can do an above ground, but it creates a messy radiation cloud, obviously. You do it in remote test sites. And I think these days, the propensity to go find a place where you can detonate a nuclear weapon is quite low. So I wouldn't overstress this as a realistic possibility at this point, fortunately.
How do you think the relationship between President Trump and President Putin is emerging or shifting? Is it?
It is. And I think it is shifting to the detriment of President Putin. And that's because President Trump has reached out on a number of occasions, including the red carpet ride he gave him up in Alaska at the putative summit a few weeks ago, really. And all that seems to look like disrespect to President Trump because Putin is not shifting his position at all. He's continuing maximalist demands in Ukraine. And I think President Trump is beginning to see that President Putin is indeed an extremely malevolent actor in the international system.
We got to go, but I got to ask a different question. I have been watching a film called House of Dynamite. Have you seen this film?
I have.
It's pretty good. Catherine Bigelow is the director. Noah Oppenheimer wrote it. And there's been a brouhaha about the film because the Pentagon apparently believes that the film, which effectively suggests that some of our capabilities to prevent a nuclear weapon being shot at us, and in the film, it doesn't work, meaning the sort of anti-nuclear capabilities to sort of take something down doesn't work. And they say that that is just not true. What do you make of that?
As usual, the position of reality is somewhere in between these 2 points. Neither should we feel we are completely vulnerable and there's a fictitious missile defense system out there, nor should we feel it is a 100% reliable system. Percentages, our system, in my view, are in-ground interceptors, which is what the film surrounds, would have, if you did a shoot 2 missiles, look and see if you hit, shoot a third, a salvo of missiles, our percentage kill would be very high. Nothing is 100%, Andrew. Last thought, when I was a 3-star admiral, I was chief of staff to Don Rumsfeld, a very hard job. And during that time, I did a lot of these exercises alongside the Secretary of Defense and the National Command Authorities. We trained to that. We're ready to go if we have to. From what I saw in the film, I think it overstates the concerns we ought to have. But it is a wake-up call always to look at this. Anytime you can imagine a dark scenario, you can kind of reverse engineer it and improve your situation. In that sense, I commend the film.